Hello everybody. Sorry, I was just eating dinner. I wanted to make a quick tutorial for you about cropping your photo and fixing eraser marks because a few people asked me about that. So let's open an image in Photoshop. I understand Photoshop is not free, but you can do a 7-day free trial. Just make sure you set an alarm or a notification so that you cancel the trial before you get charged. Unless you love it and you want to keep it and you want to continue editing your work. It's $10 a month for a subscription, but you have to sign up for a year. Anywho, I'm going to show you a free one, but it's just, pales in comparison. Alright, here we go. So we're going to click File, Open, and we'll go with somebody that we can fix. Okay, so Bailey could use a crop here. So let's take a look at Bailey's. And we want to just go ahead and crop. Just go to the crop tool, which looks the same as the one on your phone. And then you just click on it to activate it. And we're just going to get as close as we can to the edge. If you're having a hard time getting close to the edge, you can also Control plus or Command plus to go bigger and get really close. And then it's Control minus or Command minus. And then either return or, return. Or enter. That's it. Okay, now there's a little bit of perspective correction here that we can do in Photoshop. We can't do it in the free editor, and you probably can't do it on your phone. So if you're worried about that, the easiest way to do it is when you first take the picture on your phone. If you have the face of your phone, the lens of your camera, that's like the back of your phone, and it's parallel with the surface of your drawing. So, whatever distance it is, but if it's exactly the same angle as your sketchbook page, it's not going to have any distortion like this. So this is like leaned back a little bit, and so we've got some perspective showing up here. We can fix that in Photoshop, or you can just retake the image if you're having that trouble. I'll show you how to fix it. First we've got to unlock the background. So you just double click. Okay. And then edit, transform. Either skew or perspective will do the same thing. Since we're calling it perspective, we might as well use that. So just click on it. Sometimes you have to start like going to the corner and drag before you see the little squares. And then hopefully that doesn't turn out to be a bad image. Like if you feel like it looks stretched out, then I would just retake the photo. Easiest way to do it. Okay, so then this one's done, so we can file, save as. We're going to give it a name. Let's call it, I'm going to steal her work. Sorry. I'm going to call this is how I name everything. T. Hedman's Final Charcoal. I'm old school like that. Then the next box, you got to tell it where you want to save it. And we need to figure out what the format is. It doesn't give us JPEG here, and we pretty much just want a JPEG. So save a copy, and then it will allow you to select JPEG. Okay, so make sure it always wants us to revert after you select something different. It wants to revert back to its original location. So we got to click on the location again, check it, name, location, file type, save. Okay, here's a really quick way of making the quality better. Okay. All right, now let's just check the size. Make sure it's not a ginormous image, and it is. It's 22.4 megabytes. Pretty big. You can, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to show you how to do that, and when you're creating a PDF, because we got to do that too. But let's see. Let's make it 8 by 16. So now it's down to less than 2 megabytes. So that's much more reasonable. Okay, it looks tiny, but if you zoom in on it, still the same quality to our eye. So that's for web viewing. So File, Save As, and we got to go through this again because we changed the image. We changed the file size. So what did we call it? By the way, this isn't even on our midterm checklist because it's a sketchbook assignment, but I just picked it because it had some, perspective things that we could easily correct. Okay, so let's save it. All right. Now that one's done. I don't want to save her image. Okay, so now let's try one that needs some erasing. Okay, this is a really good example, Ivies. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm using your work. Okay, so there's a couple different ways of doing this. What I would do here, because watch what happens if I hit select and then subject. It wants to go to the lines that it sees because it doesn't know any better. It's just a software. So let's try this. Select, deselect. And let's try getting rid of the main marks in the background first. So I'm going to go to Color Picker. Pick the color of the lightest color of the paper. And then I'm going to paint over those main lines. And don't worry, we're going to make it all this color. The lightest shade. So just make it look clean. Okay, now the size of my paintbrush. Wow, what a difference in lighting, right? The size of my paintbrush I can change a couple of ways. I can, there's brackets on your keyboard. Left bracket makes your paintbrush smaller, right bracket makes it bigger. So say you want to do really big. That's fun. But we're not going to do that. I mean, you can if you want to, but it is fun. Also, one thing you need to know about your paintbrush is you can adjust the hardness. Say you wanted a soft edge of your brush so that you could go really gently around the edges and not erase any texture or things like that. You could make it softer, and then you're going to get just a softer edge. Do you see the difference? Here we have a hard edge, here we have a soft edge. So it's kind of lovely. It's like you can get close to things and not worry about cutting them off. And we can change the size, and we can zoom in. If we want to get really, really close. Okay, so that's one way. Now let's try the select. Select, subject. Let's see what it picks now. Oh boy, it wants to select those big things. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and use the paintbrush tool, and then I'll show you, if you don't have heavy marks in your background, how to clean up the edge, clean up the background really quickly. So let's go ahead back to our paintbrush and make it nice and big, so we can get the big areas first. Isn't that great? The reason why the erase tool won't work is because it's going to erase your paper too. Alright, now I'm going to get closer, make my brush smaller. So remember, Command plus or Control plus makes it bigger or smaller. You can also go down here to the zoom and enter in a different size. It's up to 200% right now. That works for me. Now, if you make a mistake, no big deal, because you just do Edit, Undo, and it'll go back from the last time you clicked. So if I want to do just a little click at a time, so in case I mess up, it's easy to just go back one step rather than do the whole thing at once, you know, and then you're like, oh dear. You don't want to have to redo everything. So I tend to try and just do a little click at a time. Keeping an eye out for anything I want to get rid of. And I like this little texture here around the edge. I think we need to keep it. By the way, this is another sketchbook assignment. Whoops. So it's not going to be on your list. It's just going to be our final image for each project that we've had each week, and I made a list of those on our directions for this assignment. Okay, looks pretty good. Oh. Get rid of any lines, any eraser marks that you don't want, and then let's zoom out and see if we missed anything. Of course we did. That'll happen. Okay, now that we have like a very defined edge, let's try select subject. Let's see how close it selects this time. Oh, see, it did a beautiful job. So if you have very minor erasing to do, you can use the select tool, select the subject, and then, you know, you can use your paintbrush, make it, you know, absolutely huge. But first, because the subject is selected, if we do this, your subject's going to disappear. So we have to select the opposite, select inverse, and then we'll see our little marching ants around the edge. And now, did you see that? Very minor. Alright. Undo brush tool, and I'll show you again. See those little fuzzy edges? I better zoom in so you can see that. Okay, so down here I have some little edges. And if I click on it with my giant brush, those little edges disappear, really neatening up the edge. Alright, I hope that helped. Another thing you could do is say you want your paper to look white. You could, because it's just pencil, change it to black and white, and that is Image Adjustments, black and white. Oh, whoops. Let me go back a second and deselect. Okay, now no marching ants. We can do whatever we want. Okay, black and white. Okay, and then that still looks a little bit dull, so we can go to brightness contrast, increase the contrast, increase the brightness if we want to. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now if you're really, really picky, and I'm just saying this because I know some of you really are, if you're not, don't worry. I'm not going to look for this much detail. But you could, color picker, go to your brush, make it tiny, and anything that's within the drawing itself, I can clean that up. Oh wait, gotta go to my background. I don't like that. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so I was on the wrong layer there. I needed to be on layer 0, and then I can do my color picker. Say I want to get rid of this line right here. I can color pick and then see down here it looks like my color. And then I'm going to select my paintbrush. Now this is tricky. So what I wanted to do was make it a really, really soft brush. The size is really small. And then the opacity, if we make it really light, we can kind of build on the layers until we get it a little bit better. Because if you try to just go and straight up paint over this, it's not going to look like it matches. So I've got my brush, got it kind of sheer, it's very soft. And then I can just do that. I can make my brush a little bigger because I'm going to basically have to go over this whole area until I get it done. Until it looks, you know, cleaner. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like I said, if you're a perfectionist, you might get really excited about this. Okay, so let's zoom out and see how that looks. It looks erased, so if you're going to get into it that deep, yeah, you might want to do all of it. There's such a difference, isn't there? Okay, so we don't have to be crazy, right? But if you are crazy and you want to get into doing this kind of stuff, like hours will pass and you won't even notice because you're just like, oh yeah, that looks so good. Okay, I'm going to pause now. Okay, so I went to this website to see the most recent free online photo editors. And it's funny how, see, it says, this is from November 2020, so pretty recent. It lists Photoshop as having a free, but I can't figure that out. It just takes me to Adobe, maybe because I already go there all the time. I don't know. But you can get a 7-day free trial. You just have to be good with that kind of thing. I don't want you to automatically get charged. Okay, so we are going to go to Pixlr because it's a pretty good one. And let's try the Advanced Photo Editor. Ooh, I want to win. That quick and easy graphic design sounds fun too, doesn't it? Okay, let's try this. We'll go ahead and do the same two. Okay, and it's saying, ooh, that's a big picture. So I want you to pick one of these. I'm just going to pick medium. And I don't know why it rotated. That's weird, but whatever. Okay, so let's see, where's rotate? We want to rotate left counterclockwise, and then we want to go to crop. Very, very easy. Notice the constraint. That means, you know, like, are we making it an automatic size? Did we want to make it an 8 by 10? No. We just want to be free to crop it however we want. And, you know, you can do cropping. Alright, let's see. Yes, Command minus works here, or Control minus. But there is no way to transform the image. So if you have perspective issues, you're just going to have to retake the picture first. As long as it's straight, you know, like the parallel camera to the paper, then all you should need to do is crop. If, you know, maybe you wanted to take off some edges and you don't really mind that, you could crop it off and see if that, honestly, that might ruin your composition. But if you're happy with it, that's okay with me. Alright, and then just like with Photoshop, File, Save. Let's see, I would steal in this image. Haha, just kidding. And, oh, look at that, JPEG. Quality I can increase. I can make it smaller if I want to, so it's not too big. See, it tells you how big it is right here. And then download means we're going to have to go to our downloads to find that image. Okay? And then there it is. I have preview, so I would have to go File, Move to, and wherever I want it. If you're comfortable with finding things in your downloads, you can. I like to put everything on the desktop. If this is a different image, I might need to change it. You know, like it has to have a slightly different title. Or I could keep both files. Yeah. Okay, good. Alright, it's always going to try and want you to purchase the better one, but that doesn't matter because we will not be fooled. Let's close that one. Okay, let's open the next, and let's do Ivy's again. Okay, now here we do not have a select. Oh yes, we do. Select. Well, we can't select the subject, so that's not going to help us. But I see color picker. So we can do color picker. Look at how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a value scale. Which one is it? It's the middle one, I think, right? Okay, and then I'm going to go to my paintbrush. And here's my color. Yay! Alright, so let's see. We have to go here to change the size and the softness. Okay. That looks a little dark, doesn't it? We could try decreasing the opacity. First of all, I'm going to step back. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that makes a difference. A little bit. Or we could try checking that color again. And maybe I want to go a shade lighter. Let's try that. paintbrush. Save your last setting. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Okay, now I want to make it really big to get, see how big that is. That's so big we can't even see it. So I can just quickly get most of it. And then go in and do my fine details. Yeah, I might want to erase those heavy lines a little bit more. You know, go over them with a hard brush. So let's try and get rid of that with a hard brush. Let's go full opacity. So completely covers it. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to make that one hard edge brush. Make it smaller. I forget, I can't just make it smaller automatically. Oh yeah, see what I mean? So you might want to do that first. Hard edge, get your right size. And look at how lovely that does it, just for free. So same technique, just a free tool. And free forever, free for you to use. Okay, I hope that helped everyone, and I'll talk to y'all soon.